You're hearing the Paul W. Smith Show. News Talk 760 WJR.
Happy to say now at 8:51 we've been able to track down Senator Ed McBroom, the Republican from Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Republicans in the Senate pushing for some major changes to Michigan's current election laws. Senator, welcome to the Paul W. Smith Show.
Hey, good morning, Paul. Sorry about the snafu earlier. Two different time zones like you thought.
That's what I said. Wait a minute. They're on a different time than we are. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like us to get to one time zone and leave it at that. I'd like it to be, I think standard time is what sleep doctors have said is even better than daylight savings time. But that's for another day, another argument.
Well, I can highly recommend the Central Time Zone. I find it nice. So.
It works great, except for radio interviews in the city of Detroit area. But anyway, here you are, Michigan Senate Republicans. We kind of talked a little bit about this earlier, but you unveiled 39 wide-ranging bills to alter state election laws. Targeting areas like absentee ballots, voter qualifications, and just trying to do this alone. Now the Jim Crow laws have been out there. They've brought them back again to use it as an example. In fact, the president said no one understands what he means by the Jim Eagle. But nobody also talked about the fact that he lost his train of thought mid-sentence. And then said, well, never mind. Or the fact that he was wandering in front of the podium like a Saturday Night Live skit at one point. But none of that gets touched on, Senator McBroom. But what is getting touched on is Republicans are being called racists and people who are trying to keep people, I guess presumably black people, from voting. It's kind of tough when you try to make some suggestions that you think are to make the election smoother, fairer, and appropriate, and be called a racist because of it. Tell me your side of the story.
Yeah, it's really sad and just it's hurtful. I mean, you look at these bills, 39 of them, and so many of them either had Democrat origins in a lot of their premise, or are just clearly not that at all. I mean, is allowing the Board of Canvassers an extra 10 days to do its job, or allowing a county to expand the size of their board of canvassers, or allowing people to vote on Saturday, 2 Saturdays before Election Day at their voting place in person. I mean, how can anybody say these are attempts at suppression or are somehow racially motivated? They allow military overseas guys to use their CAC card to access the ballot electronically. So there's a lot in here that's about making it simpler and quicker and more access. So I know they're focused on the voter ID and things like that, but my issue there comes down to I guess we just have to ask the question these days, what level of security would the other side actually accept? Because they've attacked how many days they have ahead of time to vote. They want more. They want days after Election Day to vote. They want to be able to absentee vote anytime. They've attacked signatures. They attacked voter ID. I mean, what's left for security? Now we even send out applications to anybody who wants them, even if they've been gone 20 years. And so I'm not exactly sure anymore what security the other side actually would support and not call somehow racially or motivated. And that's just a shame, because we're supposed to have some signature or some verification. Even you go to the Democratic Convention, they require photo IDs to get in.
To get on an airplane, to buy, I mean, we all have to use ID all the time. How that can be considered something trying to keep people from voting is ridiculous, because those people they can't drive, they can't buy property, they can't get on an airplane, they can't do anything apparently, but they can vote. Here's what I suggest: you said at the beginning, Senator Ed McBroom is here, that many of these things that you're suggesting out of the 39 bills have Democrat origins. I suggest, you're not being your PR agent here, but I suggest you get that out there and let people know. Let people know which ones came from Democrats, and now, because of the hypocrisy that the politics is full of, now they're acting like they don't like it when they came up with the idea in the first place. I think that would go a long way in helping you communicate.
Well, I hope that we do. I'm not the specialist on the PR either.
Well, whatever. I do. The idea of not sending out absentee ballot applications without people requesting them. I think that's just a bad sign, a bad move. We've all heard about people getting 6 absentee ballots in a household of 2 people. We've heard about dead relatives getting them. We've heard about our kids who grew up and moved away getting them here and getting them where they currently live. I mean, that's just ridiculous. That's not helping us have a good ballot count by sending out way too many. What's wrong
and it's
with...
not too big a hurdle. Yeah, there's not too big a hurdle to just ask people to call in or to get on the regular list to receive the application, and yet... which we did for decades until this last election when our current Secretary of State took it on herself to reinterpret proposals 2 and 3 to suggest that's what they wanted her to do, which, I mean, they never even said that in them.
Yeah, it's a tough time. Certainly it's a tough time being a Republican. And I wish you well. Thanks for coming on board. Glad we got it all worked out. Thanks, Senator.
Thanks for having the time, Paul. Have a great day.
You too. Senator Ed McBroom, Republican from Michigan's Upper Peninsula.